Today's hike was around Tucson to see the Rock Gem Mineral Show. Or was it the Fossil Show? Lots of names, but they had lots of rocks, lots of cool fossils. So I hope you enjoy this little tour. Whether you're looking for a $2,500 amethyst, or maybe a gold inlaid, gold-plated T-Rex head for $28,000. Or maybe something a little cheaper. They had stuff from a few dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So I hope you enjoy our little tour. This is the introduction by my brother Richard and his wife Lark. Okay, where are we?
We're at the Tucson Gem and Fossil Shows.
Okay. Did you notice who that was photobombing that introduction? It wasn't me, it was Kelly Paul. Yep, he was there too. We'll visit some of the buildings and tents set up along Oracle Avenue. And even though we spent several hours, we saw just a fraction of the show with facilities set up across Tucson. You literally could spend days looking at fossils and rocks and minerals. Here's some shark teeth. This is just a quick scan around the room, see some of the variety of things that are there. You'll notice a lot of amethyst, a violet form of quartz. Amethyst is a semi-precious stone, often used in jewelry, and is the traditional birthstone of February. You just see all sorts of different rocks and stones. Another interesting point on amethyst, the ancient Greeks believed it prevented intoxication, so they often wore it around their neck. There's so many different rocks and minerals, and stories about each. Okay, what am I looking at here, Kelly?
Meteorites, that's all I got.
Are these little ones meteors?
They're meteorites, aren't they?
How
From
about these?
Argentina.
From Argentina.
The name is Campo del Cielo.
Campo de Cielo.
Yes.
What's
Camp
that mean?
of the skies.
We'll learn some more interesting facts on meteorites a little later. You wouldn't believe how expensive they are. Actually, more expensive than gold. But we continue walking around the show. If you wonder why I called it the old guy's hike, because to get from venue to venue, we did a lot of hiking. Up and down the aisles, from tent to tent, and a lot of the things are even outside. There was a fossilized turtle, fossilized fish.
You are looking at a Pituophis figuraturus that is 3 million years old from Uruguay from the Pliocene era. You can't make it, fake it.
Does that help anyone? I still have no clue what it is, but don't touch it. Those were actually from a creature that was similar to like a prehistoric armadillo. And this is a woolly rhinoceros. Who knew such things even existed? But you'll see it here at the Fossil Show. There are a lot of different vendors, and many of them have a lot of similar items. So shop around. Richard, Lark, and Kelly found some little fossil they liked, and they weren't sure that they really wanted to buy it for $6. Then when they went and saw it at another vendor, and it was $300, they all went back and bought a couple of them. So shop around, check prices. A lot of times, vendors will come down on the prices that are marked quite substantially. I didn't really go to buy anything, I just went to look. I did buy different fossils, including a tortoise fossil in the past. But it's almost like a trip to the museum. Lark, what are we looking at here?
This is a horseshoe crab from Germany.
How old is it?
165 million years old.
That's older than Kelly. Desert rose, a rose-like crystal formed from precipitation in arid desert regions containing trapped sand particles. Generally, gypsum is the host mineral. Here's some shark teeth. Megalodon, regular sharks, teeth from all sorts of prehistoric creatures. You can get your selenite for $8 a pound. Of course, we went mainly to see the fossils. Like I say, this is like a trip to a museum. All the different dinosaurs. And if you win the lottery, you can afford to buy one of them. Unfortunately, I haven't bought a lottery ticket in a long time, so it's doubtful I'll ever have the money to buy one. I asked Lark to take a photo of me standing in front of the dinosaur.
I think I'm doing a movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie.
Even though she took a video instead of a photo, she did better than Kelly does because, well, as you could tell, her thumb wasn't across the front of the picture. Here's just a video I took of some of the other rocks that we encountered along our way. Just spectacular. Crystal clear quartz, black quartz, or whatever they are. You know, I really don't know much about rocks. I think Kelly liked that, the pyrite. Some fossil bones. Whatever that is. But it's all spectacular. I think that's the first time I've used that word. But look at those crystals. And this, that fluorescence you saw there, was because they contain some uranium. They're a little bit radioactive, and if you have the right type of light, they'll glow in the dark. I like all these crystals. I don't know why. But they just look very cool. You thought I was going to say spectacular, didn't you? Sometimes I surprise people. When I looked at all the fossils at the show, I'm reminded of a saying by Kierkegaard. There are two ways to be fooled. One is to believe what isn't true. The other is to refuse to accept what is true. When you start looking at some of these fossils, it's hard to know what's real and what are replicas. Is that a real fossil of that fish, or was it a replica? Many of the rocks and fossils are painted to enhance their appearance, or mineral oils applied, all to make things look a little better. There was one tortoise fossil that I really liked, and it was beautiful right there in the sandstone. And there was actually a fish fossil next to it. And I thought, that one's real. Well, the actual sandstone and fish fossil were real, but the turtle was actually a replica that was cut out and put into the fossil. Very realistic looking, but it was a replica. So sometimes it's easy to be fooled. Oftentimes when you look at the price, that'll be an indicator as to whether it was a real fossil or whether it was a replica. And even some of these rocks, they're man-made rocks, and they're rocks just from nature. And oftentimes these real rocks, well, quite honestly, they just don't look natural or real. So it can be difficult to know. That was a dinosaur egg. Here's a crabs, all fossilized. There's Richard checking out a fossil. An ammonite, shrimp, looks like a turtle, squid. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, that's some sort of reptile. Some of these fossils are huge, and unless you have a person, you just really don't get the scale. Like, look at that big mouth. It's a shark. When I'm standing by it, you see, I could just fit right in its mouth. Just a lot of fun seeing all the fossils. Leg bone of some sort of dinosaur. And there's some dinosaur eggs. It's just fun seeing all the fossils. Some of them, like these from Kimmerer, where we actually went and dug fossils. And these tortoises from South Dakota. Just interesting to think that a lot of these animals roamed in the areas where we live that are now deserts and plains and cold environments where once they were tropical environments. Lots of fish, plants. I hope you're enjoying all these fine fossils. It's a lot more fun when you dig them and split the rock and see them yourself. But we don't have all the materials to do it quite as good as they do. Ammonites. Big old panel rock of fossils. And the detail to dig out all those tiny spines. Ammonites in the raw form, polished, cut in half, whatever way you like them, they've got them. Large size, small size. And there's my gold-plated T-Rex. Calcite, desert rose, $6-7 a pound. All different colors and styles. And these, they look kind of cool till I saw a $1,200 price tag on them. Obsidian. Dark black reflects. There's a big fish. Oh no, that was Richard. Other fossils. But the dinosaurs, they're always one of my favorite to see. And that turtle and that crocodile were as big as me. Just a lot of fun at the Tucson Mineral, Gem, and Fossil Show. I gave it a 2 thumbs up. And if you want a woolly mammoth tusk, only $250,000. If you wanted to go a little higher end, there's a bigger one for $350,000. But just think of the appreciation. If it doubles in value over the next 10 years, you just made $250,000. But lots of different fossils. That was the positive and negative of that fossil. Hard to tell from a photo. And that's that turtle fossil. It's a replica. They inlaid it quite nicely. Pyrite, or should I call it fool's gold? All the different fossils, all different forms and styles. That one looked like it had a little meat left on it, and there's some actual hair from a woolly mammoth. That leg looked like it had a little meat left on it too. I guess if you know how to do the DNA, you can do your own Jurassic Park and create your own woolly mammoth. The Megalodon shark teeth. I'm not sure what kind of creature that was. Sometimes they'd put a little fake dinosaur next to the bones so you could see what type of dinosaur it came from. Because seeing the names didn't necessarily mean anything to me. I'm not sure what Kelly's doing with his hand there. That was a giant prehistoric sloth. They've actually found those in Arizona.
That'll grow so you can get transparency.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
Oh, your ring's a...
Yeah. So, funny enough, we actually have a bunch of meteorite rings too, if you want to just look for fun. These also...
So what caused that?
It's just how it was. It's
a little bit more like honeycomb.
And they're just, that's natural.
That's natural.
and what causes it? It's just things that get caught in it as it's forming into.
No, it's just time and pressure. So it's also at a depth. So if you're looking at a planetoid, so something not planet-sized but smaller, something that would have been in the asteroid belt, you will have a core, just like the Earth does, which is where the iron stuff comes from. The outside would be the mantle where the stone meteorites come from. And this happens kind of where the mantle and the core meet. And it's just the right combination of...
Okay, Kelly, pick up that piece of meteorite. Oh. And it is really that heavy. Right?
Yes.
A $75 guitar pick was the cheapest meteorite. I'm not sure what the rings cost. And I know I couldn't afford a larger piece. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our tour of the Tucson show, the Rock and Mineral Fossil Show. You've seen maybe some of the rocks you'd like? Head on out. Still going on for a few more weeks. But have a great day, and our next hike, we'll probably be back out in nature, back in the mountains. But have a good day.